All right, looks like we are live. Welcome, everybody, here to my weekly Sunday live stream. I am a little bit late today. I apologize about that. I was just traveling back. I was playing in Cincinnati, Ohio this past weekend and just got in a little bit late. It was a really late night last night, so just really kind of wanted to sleep in, and the band didn't want to leave until later on today, so I wasn't able to do my usual time. And I still wanted to follow through with doing my weekly Sunday live stream, but I'm here, and I wanted to try this out as well here at 7 p.m. This could be a really good time, so we'll see how this goes here. But normally I do my Sunday live streams every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I do realize that this is a last minute decision to even do this here today. But I figure what the hell, try it out and see how it goes, and maybe if we get a great turnout, maybe I can move the time around. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, I just had a really wonderful weekend. I was playing in Cincinnati, Ohio for the St. Patty's Day blowout weekend. And man, it was a hell of a weekend, man. It was just chaotic. It was crazy as all hell, and just so much fun. And just played down some great music for some great people. And it was just really, really fun. So that was really cool. It was a great weekend. I went over to Mike's Music during the day yesterday and checked that out. It's a great vintage guitar shop in Cincinnati there. So if you're in the area, go and check them out. They're really nice people, and they have an amazing inventory. I mean, they have some amazing stuff there. Just really cool old pedals, old guitars, old amps and stuff. And they actually have 3 locations around the Cincinnati area, which is pretty amazing. And I know at their Covington location, he actually has a Carina Flying V, which, I mean, those Carina Flying Vs are some of the most collectible, electrics like ever. I mean, they're worth like 500,000 or something crazy. So I thought that was pretty cool when I first seen that. But yeah, these live streams, folks, are all about you guys. It's all about whatever you guys want to get out of this. So whatever questions you guys have for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. Looks like it's still a little bit slower here with the turnout, but we'll see if we get some more folks joined up here, and we'll see how this goes. I apologize once again about the crazy scheduling. It's just really difficult for me because I'm normally out on the road on the weekends, and it's just hard for me to find the perfect time to be able to do this, and to also have the time to just do this in general, to be able to stay with the 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time that I normally do. Of course, if I'm already home and I'm not on the road, then I can normally make that happen. But once again, folks, these live streams are all about you guys. So literally anything goes. I mean, any questions you guys have for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box, and I'd be happy to answer it. And I just love donating my time here on these live streams to connect with everybody, and just show my appreciation to everybody out there that watches my videos and supports my music and my art. It just really means the world to me. And I've met some absolutely amazing people through here on YouTube, and I've been able to create an amazing community. So if you are brand new here, by the way, please consider subscribing. Come on in and join the family. This is a incredible community, and we're having so much fun talking everything music. And also, by the way, folks, be sure to hit the like button on this live stream. It actually really does help out a lot with getting this live stream out there. So if you guys could just take the time to hit the like button. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I guess it really does make a major difference. So, if you guys could do that, and, again, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. But anyways, going back to my story with Cincinnati here, I just spent the weekend there, and man, it was just so fun, man. Just wall-to-wall people, just litified club, man. It was absolutely out of control, and we just had so much fun, man, playing some amazing music, and playing to some amazing fans out there. So it was really cool. I'm a little bit jet lagged. I'm a little bit tired just because it was a couple pretty late nights for sure. But I'm back home here in Nashville. Obviously, I'm back here in my home studio, and going to be working on some new videos coming up here this week, so y'all stay tuned for that. And also, I have a lot of lessons, a lot of teaching to do here this week. So to my students out there, I'll see y'all soon, and looking forward to that. Always love teaching, always really enjoy that, and it's just amazing what that has turned into. You know, I'm teaching people from all over the world, and it's just amazing what that has become. And if you yourself are interested in one-on-one online lessons, be sure to send me an email at jkm4231@gmail.com. That's jkm4231@gmail.com. It's also going to be linked down below in the description box as well. And, I'd be happy to get you all some more information on this. You're actually seeing and hearing the exact setup that I use for these online lessons. It's all shot on a 4K definition camera. It's all pro video and pro audio. And what's so cool with these lessons is that you'll actually get a recorded copy of the lesson itself at the very end. So you could simply just download the video and rewatch it as many times as you want. It's really cool, and the system, the platform just works so well. It is literally as if we were sitting right next to each other, just talking in real time. I mean, there's no glitching up, there's no freezing up or none of this. It just works really, really well. And I've really taken the time. I've put in a lot of effort and a lot of money in making sure that this system is really solid, and it's really going to be a solid experience for everybody out there. So again, for more information on this, hit me up at jkm4231@gmail.com. Now, also linked down below in the description box is a Sweetwater affiliate partnership link. Now, I'm a partner with Sweetwater Music, and this is just a really cool link and a really cool thing that they do for us musicians here. I know of a couple other guys that do this as well, but if you guys are looking to purchase any kind of gear, whether it's a deluxe reverb, if it's a Nobels ODR1, if it's a Universal Audio Apollo or something like this, it could literally be anything. As long as you guys click the link down below and you guys purchase the item through the link, I just get a small little commission off the sale, and it doesn't cost you guys anything extra whatsoever. It's just a really cool way to support the channel, and I just get a small little cut of the actual sale. So again, it's a really cool way to support the channel, and just a fun, easy way to do that. So be sure to check that out. And let's see here. We have Soldano in the house. Hey man, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, appreciate the content. Looking forward to a lesson with you. Yes, definitely. Really looking forward to that. I'll see you on Wednesday. So really appreciate you doing that. And thanks so much for watching the videos, and thanks so much for supporting me. Really appreciate it, for sure. You're definitely going to dig it, man, for sure. It's really amazing. I give out a lot of information within these lessons, so at the time it could be overwhelming. But again, what's so cool with it is that you'll actually get a recorded copy, so you could simply just download the video and rewatch it as many times as you want. So even if during the lesson you feel overwhelmed with the information, you could always just go back and rewatch it as many times as you want. So it really works out well, man. And this is literally the exact setup that I use for those lessons as well. The video camera and the audio. So everything looks and really sounds amazing as well. So it's really awesome. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I'll see you on Wednesday for sure. So thanks once again for being here, and thanks for watching the videos, and thanks for taking my lessons. Appreciate it. But yeah, this was a great weekend here this past weekend in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was pretty amazing. I got my favorite ice cream, Grater's ice cream, for those that are in Cincinnati. Y'all know that. And, Grater's is just amazing. It's just phenomenal. The black raspberry chip ice cream was just amazing. So had to stop and get that. And it's just a local, just legendary ice cream place. And that was delicious. And had some really good Mexican food as well. And man, it was just a great time. It was really cool. I slept in on Saturday. I didn't get up till like 1:30 p.m., man. It was crazy. I haven't slept like that in a long time. But it was just a really late night, man, and that Friday night gig was just turned up, man. It was wild. But let's see here. Old Guy Plays is in the house. Hey, man, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Says, what's up, all? What's going on, man? Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. A lot of new names here as well, folks, so really appreciate that. It's really great to see this, This is not my usual time for my live streams. I normally do 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, like I was saying just a little bit ago. But because I was out on the road, I just was not able to commit to that normal time. So I really do apologize about the chaotic scheduling with these live streams. It's just really hard, man, because with traveling and being out on the road, my schedule is so chaotic. It's so nuts a lot of the time. So it's just hard for me to be able to commit to that normal time at 11:30. But if I am home, then I normally will do it at 11:30. And depending on how tonight goes, maybe I can change the time over, and we'll see. We'll see how tonight goes. So I'm curious to see how this goes. Looks like we've got some more people joined up here. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate that. Once again, if you guys have any questions for me whatsoever, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer it. I try to stay away from any question that would interfere with my online lessons, but anything else goes, so feel free to ask away, and I'd be happy to answer. And, for these live streams, folks, honestly, just the reality is I don't make anything on these live streams. This is a total donation of time. I really just do this just to show my support and, really show my appreciation to everybody out there that watches my videos and supports my music and my art. It just really means the world to me. And this is really why I'm here doing this. And also, I think it's a really cool way to connect with everybody. It's just wonderful. The normal time at 11:30, we normally have a great turnout. We have a lot of questions, a lot of people asking stuff, and I've gotten to know a lot of familiar online names here, and I have very, very loyal supporters. So I really do appreciate that, and I just wanted to follow through with doing this live stream here today because I know I normally do it every Sunday, but again, with my crazy schedule on the road, it's just difficult to always commit to that 11:30 a.m. time. But let's see here. Excuse me. We have Jack Mundo in the house. Hey Jack, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, thanks. What year and model R ? Is your Les Paul? Oh, you're talking about the R9. Yeah, the R9, man, I've had a couple of them throughout the years, but the one that I have now is actually from last year. It's literally brand new. It's one of the Murphy Lab light-aged Les Pauls. I just like the R9s in particular because I like the neck profile. And I've got to say, man, with those R9s, the neck profile really feels good, man. They have it really dialed in. And it just feels great to play. And honestly, those custom bucker pickups, man, they sound amazing. I actually just took it out on the road this past weekend, and I've been gigging it like crazy, man. I use that guitar literally like almost every gig I take it out on. And it's just killer, man. It's real lightweight. The custom buckers sound great plugged up into a deluxe reverb or pretty much any amp. I mean, they just sound amazing. And it's a really cool guitar. I mean, they're not cheap. The Murphy Lab, like mine is the light-aged model, and that's like the most affordable out of all of them. And if I'm remembering correctly, it goes up like $1,000 per relicking. So depending on how much relicking that you have done to the guitar, if it's like the ultra light or the medium or the heavy aged or whatever that they call it, it goes up by $1,000 every single time. So I just didn't want to pay that for a reissue because really at that point, when you're really pushing like 10 grand for an instrument, I mean, you could get a vintage one for that, So, of course, not like a 59 Les Paul. You're not going to get that obviously for 10 grand, but you could find a cool like late 60s for maybe a little bit more than that, or even like an early 70s you could find as well, like T-tops, T-top pickups that just sound wonderful. You could find some of those for a great deal. So, but yeah, that Murphy Lab, man, I gotta say it's been working out great. I mean, I really like it. It's very lightweight. The pickups sound great, and it's just a great tool. I take it out all the time, and it just kicks ass. So that's a 2024, and it's just an R9 with the 59 neck profile. So that's my favorite Les Paul for sure. And Jack says here, have you played a Murphy aged? Yep, I've played that, which actually the guitar that I use is the light aged Murphy Lab model. I was just saying. And then Jack says here, surprise Gibson hasn't given you one. Man, that would be great. I would love that. That would be one hell of a gift, man, for sure. I would absolutely love that. But, I paid for that guitar, with my own money. And, man, it was not cheap, man. I tell you what. God dang. It's crazy, man. Those R9s, it's crazy what instruments are selling for now. But, yeah, I mean, it's just been awesome. That guitar has been great. And, I'm currently on the hunt. I'm trying to find a great Telecaster. I've just really kind of fallen out of love with my custom shop telly that I have. So I'm kind of on the hunt, man. I'm looking around. Like, I would love to find maybe like a mid 60s or like maybe a late 60s, maybe 67, 68, Telecaster or something. That would be really cool. Or even like an Esquire would be really cool. So I'm kind of on the hunt. I'm trying to find the perfect telly. Just not crazy about the one that I have right now. So I want to change that up. But really, between the R9 Les Paul and a Telecaster, you could really do just about anything with those two guitars. I mean, for all the kind of stuff that I get hired on for, I mean, it's really all you need is really just a Fender Telecaster and an R9 Les Paul. For me, would really get the job done. I mean, I actually have this triple guitar vault that's really cool, and it holds 3 guitars, and it's a road case, but the guitars actually live inside the vault. So what's cool is you can put 3 of them in there, and it's very lightweight, very strong, and it's on wheels and stuff. And what's cool is you can actually set it up on stage where you just take the lid off, and then the guitars actually just live in there. So it's basically like its own little guitar vault on stage. And man, with that, I just load up the R9 Les Paul. I have a Telecaster I throw in there, and then just a Strat. And really between those 3 guitars, and really the 2, really the Les Paul and the Tele, those are really my main guitars that I really use for all the stuff that I do here in Nashville. It's really all that I need is a Tele and a Les Paul. But of course, a Strat is always good too. So that's why I like to bring out this triple guitar vault, and I just have those 3 guitars in there, and man, it just gets the job done. It's really all I need. So, let's see, where the hell was I on this thing? Think here. Yeah, let's see here. Keith's World is in the house. Hey, Keith, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, what are your thoughts on SGs? Oh, man, I love them. Are you kidding me? I love SGs. I really do this dance. I go back and forth between an SG and a Les Paul as far as what is my favorite electric guitar. The SG has a lot more mid-range than a Les Paul, but the Les Pauls are a little bit fatter. For me, like, I'm always looking for a Les Paul to be like a fatter Telecaster. That's always what I'm looking for. And that's just what I love with those R9s so much, is like the custom bucker pickups really sound like that. They're like a fatter Tele, basically. The thing that just drives me nuts with those reissue instruments is, when you get past the 12th fret, the sustain is just nothing like the vintage instruments. It's totally different. But honestly, those pickups sound excellent. And like I've been saying, it's a great tool. You can take it out on the road, you can throw it around, you don't have to worry about it. Of course, I don't want anything bad to happen to it because it's very expensive, but it's not like a priceless 59 Les Paul Burst or something where if you crack the headstock or something, it's devastating, and you just lose your ass on it now because now it's only worth half of what it would have been without the break. With this R9, man, you could take it out on the road and throw it around and just rock out and not have to worry about it. And I just love it, man. I love the R9. I think it's a killer guitar. And that neck profile, like I was saying earlier, man, they really have it together, man. It's really, really dialed in. So, but I love that guitar, but that said, I love SGs as well. So I go back and forth, I love SGs also because they're very lightweight. And, if you're on a gig where maybe it's, a little bit longer, maybe you're playing for a good while, it's nice to have that SG, man, because it's so much lighter than like a Les Paul. But really with these R9s, I mean, they're making them now like 8-ish pounds, and they're really not that bad. So it's pretty lightweight, and just sounds kick ass. But I love SGs. It's either an SG or a Les Paul. Those two are really, really my favorite electric guitars of all time. It's just, I love Gibsons. I'm not a big Fender guy, but I need to have one with working here in Nashville. I gotta have a Telecaster, and I gotta have a Strat for the vibe. And it's just a part of those tone groups is what I call it. And you just gotta have a Strat, you gotta have a Tele, you gotta have a Les Paul or an SG, or just both. What the hell? Why not? Let's see. Jack says here, your custom shop Tele sounds great. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's cool, man. I dig it. It's I don't know. I'm just not like inspired to play it for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know. I just have kind of fallen out of love with it. But it's a cool guitar. It's light. It's got the maple board, which I always like on a Tele. Get that extra snap. Just a little bit more out of the chicken picking stuff, and just a little bit more top end for all that chicken picking stuff, and just sounds great. So let's see. Michael says here, maybe try new pickups in your custom shop Tele first. Ron Ellis makes some awesome Tele pickups. That's cool. Yeah, I've heard of Ron's stuff before. I've played some of the pickups, man. They do sound good. I don't know, man. I just don't really like messing with changing pickups and doing all that stuff. It's like, I'd rather just find an instrument that's got the original pickups, like a vintage Tele or something, and, just roll with that. I mean, obviously it would be a lot more expensive, but I just don't want to get into modifying all this stuff and changing shit and, then losing your ass on the pickups because you spent, $500 or $600 or whatever. So, for me, I just like to leave it stock, and I'll just find another guitar that has great sounding pickups. But that said, Ron does make some cool stuff. Let's see. Soldano says here, my newest guitar is an American Player 2 Tele. I somehow avoided trying a Tele for 23 years. Wow. I also got some new pedals after watching your board videos. The Nobles ODR1 is really nice. That's awesome, man. Yeah, the ODR is really cool with a Tele, because the ODR is a darker sounding drive, and then, you combine that with the single coil pickups from the Telecaster, and they just really match up well together, It's a really good tone, and the Nobles is just great, It's a low to medium gain drive, and, it has a very particular EQ, and, man, it just sounds killer. The Nobles into a deluxe reverb, I mean, it's a phenomenal tone. It's a Nashville staple. I mean, literally everybody uses Nobles, and it's just so funny to me how much that the vintage ones have gone up, man. It's crazy. I remember I used to buy those back 10 years ago when I moved here. I would find them on Craigslist for $100, $150. I mean, if it had the box and the papers and all that stuff, it would maybe be $175, $200, something like that. And man, I remember I eventually collected. I had like 15 of them up until just recently. I sold them off like last year, and I just went down to just one. I have this Ram Nobles that I just love on my main pedal board, and it was my favorite sounding one. It's really, really good sounding. And that's the thing with all those old Nobles, is that they're all different. They're all different. You could line 15 of them up and they all sound different. And this one in particular, this Ram Nobles, I just absolutely love that pedal. It sounds incredible. So I just decided to literally sell off all of them because I see the prices on them and I'm like, man, they're selling for like $1,500 and up, man. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, man, I used to get those, like I was saying, for $150 or, $200 tops if it had the papers and the bubble wrap and all that stuff. So it's just kind of crazy, but man, the market has just totally changed. It's just crazy how expensive the stuff is now. Let's see. Jack says here, Carmelita neck. Cool. Let's see. We have Jason in the house. Hey, Jason, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, hey, Justin, I recently picked up a Brown Amps Atom, which is modeled after the Nobles Killer pedal. That's awesome, man. Great. That's awesome that you're enjoying that. Happy for you. And, man, make some music. Crank it up. Let's see. Soldano says here, my deluxe reverb reissue comes in on Tuesday. That's awesome, man. Great. It's a great choice, man. You can't go wrong with those amps. You know, the deluxe reverb reissue is a phenomenal amp. I mean, you could literally do anything with a deluxe reverb, you know, and you could crank them up and get some drive out, you know, out of the amp. You could hit it with pedals. It's got great sounding reverb. If you like reverb, I'm not a big reverb guy. But yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, those amps are incredible, you know. It just does literally everything. And you could take it to any gig. You could just throw a 57 on it and it's going to sound awesome. So, you know, just take the bass, turn it down to 3, put the treble on 5, and get the volume up to like, you know, 3 or 4, something like that. And just play, man. And that's it. And don't even worry about the gear, you know. Just have that. Use a deluxe reverb. Hit it with those pedals like the Nobles or, you know, for me, I like to get something that has a different EQ as well. So like the Nobles to me is very dark and it's a low to medium gain kind of drive tone. And so for me, what I like to do is I like to have 2 different gain stages. I have a second gain stage that's EQ'd completely differently and has a totally different range of gain on tap there. Just in case if I ever need it for like heavier music or if I'm just looking for something like for a part to just stand out, you know, I just want to have the flexibility to be able to choose a different gain stage with a totally different EQ. And then of course I do have the GE7 as well, so I could re-EQ that as well. But, you know, that's for me the way that I like to do it. And then, of course, I have the RC boost as well, which I don't know if you got that as well. But, man, if you run that before the Nobles, it's a great combination. You know, it's a really good amount of gain. And you can kind of re-EQ just slightly the Nobles because the RC would be before the Nobles instead of post. But you could even experiment with that, too. You could even run the RC afterward and try to really re-EQ it because depending on where you put these pedals, you know, it obviously will make a huge difference on the way that they work and the way that they sound. So that's something that you could experiment with. But for me, I like it before just to get a little bit more gain and just to take out a little bit of the low end. So there's a bass and treble knob on the RC boost. And, you know, I just normally like to take a little bit of bass out and just get a little bit more gain just so I have somewhere to go with the Noble sound. And, man, it just sounds great, you know. And really, between those 2 pedals and a deluxe reverb, man, that's really it, man. That's really all you need. Maybe a delay, you know, if you want some slapback or like a long delay or something. But, you know, don't even worry about the gear, you know, just play. You know, with a setup like that, man, it's that's really all you need. But let's see. Jack says here, hey, Justin, what amp are you using on stage/studio? Man, I've went through a major change with my amps. You know, I had a massive collection of stuff, man. I had like a bunch of old Marshalls and I had actually 4 68 plexi panel Marshalls. 3 of them were 50 watts and then the 4th one was a 100 watt lead spec one. So super lead is what that's called. But yeah, I decided to sell off that stuff and I just went down to a deluxe reverb. And then I also have this blonde basement here as well. And then I just got a couple cabinets. You know, I have this Bogner 212 that's you can kind of see in the background there. It's over there. But that just has 2 Celestion 65s in it. And they're from the 80s, you know. So they're a little older and just really broken in and just really sound good. And that's like my main cabinet. And then I also have a 112 Cube Bogner cabinet that's also loaded with an 80s Celestion 65 as well. And it just really sounds great with like a blonde bassman. Sounds good with a Marshall. It's just a really good speaker. I just love the way it sounds. And So that's really what I use, man. Really a deluxe reverb, blonde bassman. I also love a diesel VH4 as well. That's a really great amp. It has an amazing clean tone and really good high gain channels as well. So if I need something that's really high gain, I'll normally go to that. Yeah, so kind of a combination of a lot of different stuff. I love Vox amps as well. Like a great AC15 or an AC30 is always cool. Really for me, man, it's really those three tone groups, for the amps. I like a Fender, I like a Vox, and a Marshall. That's really all I do, and then I just blend, these amps, whether it's a Marshall with a Vox or if it's a Fender with a Vox. I've done that before. I normally don't do a Marshall and a Fender just because they're just really different sounding, but normally I like to blend a Vox with a Marshall. That's kind of my go-to thing with that. But yeah, it's really just a combination of all of those or just one of those three. So appreciate the question. Let's see. We have Robert in the house. Hey, Robert, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, just paid $700 for a 2021 King of Tone pedal. Almost feels sick. Oh, man. Damn. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, it's crazy. It is so expensive, man. It's crazy what stuff is selling for now, man. I mean, hell, at least, I mean, $700. I mean, it's definitely high, but I mean, you could definitely get your money back for what you have in it. So that's a good thing at least. But yeah, it's just crazy, man. It's kind of insane. I mean, it's like I was saying earlier, the Nobles, I mean, the original Nobles, man, they're selling for $1,500 and up. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. But let's see. We have Andrew in the house. Hey, Andrew, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, hi, Justin, just got here. Is that a blonde bassman I see there on the bottom shelf? Also, how is it with the light speed? Good question. Yeah, so it's a blonde bassman there. What he's talking about there is down low there. Get my finger in there. There we go. But yeah, that's a 63 blonde bassman, and it sounds amazing, man. I absolutely love it. It's probably up there, I mean, top 3 amps for me, for sure. It sounds phenomenal. This one in particular, too, I don't know what is going on with it, man, but it sounds so good. It is crazy, man. I had it retubed over at Todd Sharp's place, and those guys were telling me, they were like, man, this is probably the best blonde bassman we've had walk in here, that they've ever heard, that they ever plugged up. And man, I honestly have to agree with them. I mean, it sounds so good, man. It's crazy. I'll pull your question back up here. But yeah, then the second question here was, how is it with the light speed? Man, it's a perfect combination. Because the thing is that's cool with the blonde bassmans is that you get this additional top end with the presence knob, and there's a little bit more mid-range in comparison to a blackface bassman. So that's what I really like with that blonde bassman. And man, when you hit it with a light speed, it's like the perfect amount of gain, and the frequency knob on the light speed is just a really wide sweep, man. It's really cool. Like, you could get it to be dark, you could get it to be bright and mid-rangey. I mean, it's just a really good pedal, man. The light speed is phenomenal, and it's pretty much like the perfect amount of gain. It's not too much and it's not too little. But I still like to do the RC booster right before the light speed, just to get a little bit more gain off of it. And again, I was talking about gain pedals, just a little bit ago, but just to repeat myself, like, for me, what I like to do with the gain pedals is I like to, be able to go somewhere with the amount of gain that I'm playing with. So, the light speed will stay on the whole time, and then I'll clean up with a guitar volume knob, but then I'll hit it with an RC boost. I'll boost it with a GE7 afterward to get some more mid-range. I just want to be able to go somewhere dynamically with my gain pedals and be able to get some more gain, get more EQ, more level, and I just never want to feel stuck with just one particular gain pedal. But normally I like to have 2 different gain pedals on there, something that has a totally different EQ and a different level of gain. So just to be able to change it up just for whatever inspiration that I get for whatever part that I'm playing. But yeah, it's a really great pedal. The Lightspeed with the blonde bassman is a great combination. So great question, and thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. But yeah, folks, if you guys feel like you got something out of today's live stream and you guys do want to support the channel, feel free to throw a little love in the Venmo tip jar or the PayPal tip jar or even a super chat here in today's live stream. This is a donation of time. I don't make anything on these live streams. I literally just donate my time. So any and all support is really appreciated. If you guys want to throw a little love in the Venmo tip jar or the PayPal tip jar or even a super chat here in today's live stream, any and all support is really, really appreciated. Now, I do also want to take the time to mention my one-on-one online lessons. I'm teaching people from all over the world, and you're actually seeing and hearing the exact setup that I use for these lessons. It's all shot on a 4K definition camera. It's all pro video and pro audio. And what's so cool with these lessons is that you'll actually get a recorded copy of the lesson itself at the very end, so you could just simply download the video and rewatch it as many times as you want. So it's a really amazing setup, and it just works so well. I cannot say this enough, man. It's just amazing how well that it works. So if you yourself are interested, hit me up at jkm4231@gmail.com. That's jkm4231@gmail.com. It's also linked down below in the description box. And, I'd be happy to get you down in the books today. I'd be happy to get you some more information. So thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. And I do have to take the time to mention this stuff because I'm literally just donating my time here with these live streams. So any and all support is really appreciated. And be sure to check out all the other links that I have down below there as well in the description box. There's many ways you can support this channel. So once again, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Keef's World says here, have you played a Tim or Timmy pedal? I've had a Tim for a while, and it sounds good with all my guitars. Yeah, man, I actually just got the V2 Tim just the other day. I happened to find it up the road here at Guitar Center, and man, that's a really good sounding pedal, man. I really like it. I like it a lot. And so, yeah, I actually just got that just the other day, and I really like that pedal with a Vox amp. It's really good with a Vox. But that said, you're right. I mean, it really sounds good with just about anything. Any guitar you plug up into it, it's cool. So, but yeah, that's a great pedal. I mean, there's just so many great pedals out there, man. It's crazy. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, there's so much good gear out there. It's crazy. But let's see. We have Richard in the house. Hey, Richard, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. Says here, did you see video of Book playing at Billy's back in his hometown yesterday? No, I have not seen that. I'll have to check it out. That's cool. That's awesome. Back in Cleveland. That's awesome. Yeah, I was actually just playing in Cincinnati, so I have family in Columbus, Ohio, so not too far away, but yeah, I was just playing up in Cincinnati this past weekend and just got back here today. So, man, we have some great engagement here today. I really appreciate everybody asking all these amazing questions. And thanks so much for joining me here today. I really do appreciate it. Looks like we have a great crowd here. And, man, this is looking like a really good time to do a live stream. So, I would love to get some feedback. If you guys would like me to do these live streams a little bit later on a Sunday, instead of at 11:30 a.m., if you guys would like me to do it at 7 p.m. or something like this, I'd be happy to make that adjustment. It actually would help me out as well because, like I was saying, like normally on the weekends I'm normally touring, and it's just really difficult for me to be able to make 11:30 work because a lot of the time I'm traveling back home or I'm catching a flight or something. So doing this at 7 p.m., I think I could consistently keep that time together. So I would love to get some feedback. If you guys would like me to do this normally at 7 p.m., I could do that and make that adjustment. It's looking like a great crowd here that we have here. So really cool. But really great questions as well here, folks. I really appreciate it. If you guys would like to support the channel, once again, be sure to check out all the links that I have down below in the description box. You know, it's there's many ways that you can support the channel. As I've said, this is truly a donation of time. But you know, again, these live streams are all for you guys. You know, so any questions that you guys have for me, feel free to, you know, leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer. And you know, again, I just really appreciate everybody so much watching these videos. You know, it just really means the world to me, and it's just so wonderful. You know, this community is just awesome. So many just amazing people are a part of this community, and I just love being able to hang out with you guys here on these live streams and just show my appreciation to everybody out there that watches my videos and supports my music and my art. You know, it just really means so much to me. So again, thank you for that. Let's see here. Michael says here 8 p.m. is better. Okay, 8 p.m. is better. Interesting. Well, maybe I'll try to mess around with that too. Are you talking Central Standard Time or Eastern or what? But let's see. I'd be curious. We have another comment here from OAEOEAO. What's going on, man? Good to see you. It says here 7 p.m. live chat. Yes, better time. Okay, great feedback. Great feedback. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Hey, I recently picked up a 79 the SG for cheap. Yeah. Vintage guitars may not all be perfect, but the inspiration matters. Thanks, Justin. You rock. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's so true, man. That's what it's all about, man. It doesn't matter what anybody's opinion is. It doesn't matter what anybody has to say. It's all about you. And that's the beautiful thing with music. You know, if you feel that this instrument is inspiring to play and you want to pick it up and you want to write something, you want to create a new melody, you write a new riff, you know, whatever it takes to get the inspiration, that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter what some YouTube guy has to say about, you know, 70s Les Pauls or SGs or whatever, right? Like, I understand they are different instruments in general. You could make that point, but it doesn't matter, man. It's all about the inspiration. That's what it's all about, and that's what a lot of very elementary level players just don't understand. They'll never understand that, you know. As a creative person, we're always trying to find the inspiration however we can. If it's, you know, off of a new instrument, you know, a vintage, a new Les Paul, you know, or maybe you change the strings or something to a higher gauge, you know, where it just makes you play a little bit differently, or it makes you work a little harder to bend that one note. You know, it's all about the inspiration, man. That's what it's all about, and that's what we're always trying to capture. You know, and that's even like here within my studio. You know, I have the studio set up here so I can immediately track something. So if I hear something in my head, a certain melody or a certain riff, I can instantly record it without even having to think about it or set up anything. You know, because that's the thing with the inspiration, you know, it strikes at random times. So you can't really control it. But man, when you have that inspiration, you got to hit record, man. You got to start recording. So it's so important, but the inspiration is what it's literally all about. It doesn't matter what anybody has to say about any instrument. It's all about you and what you know, find inspiring to play. So that's great that you're enjoying that. And a super chat here. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Give you some sound effects. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Really means the world to me, you know. And once again, folks, you know, if you guys would like to support the channel, you know, you can throw a super chat here just like OAE did here. Or you could throw a little love in the Venmo or PayPal tip jar. You know, once again, folks, I'm just donating my time here. I don't make anything. I don't make shit on these live streams. So, you know, any and all support is really appreciated. And be sure to check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. You know, I offer one-on-one online lessons, and I have all kinds of links down there. There's so many ways you can support the channel, so be sure to check out all that stuff as well. But thank you again, OAE. Appreciate that. Let's see. Michael says here, sorry, 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, awesome. Cool, man. So 7 p.m. It looks like it's a good time, man. We've had a great crowd here today, so I think I'm gonna have to make the change here for sure. So let's see. I think I was here. Yeah, here we go. Ty's in the house. Hey Ty, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, Justin, good to see you. You as well, bro. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And we have Ryan in the house. Hey Ryan, how's it going? Says here, I'm gigging with a Sir SL68, setting it on edge of breakup so I can use the volume knob to clean up. Would you recommend the RC booster Noble setup for different gain stages? Man, I mean, for like a Plexi style amp, I wouldn't do that. I would just boost it with like an EQ, you know, if you boost it with like a GE7 or even if you took like a SD1 or something like this, you know, from Boss, like a super overdrive, just to just get a little bit more gain and a little bit more mid-range. That's what I like with a Plexi. Really, the Nobles and the RC boost, I only do that with a deluxe reverb just because it's cleaner and it's just not as mid-rangey as a Plexi, you know. And I think you can just really get away with it more with the Nobles and the RC going into a deluxe reverb. So I would definitely just say with the Plexi style amp, like a Marshall, man, I would just boost it with like an EQ, like a GE7 or even an SD1 overdrive from Boss. So yeah, check that out. And we got DJ in the house. Hey DJ, what's going on? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, deluxe reverb reissues sound fine until you play a vintage deluxe reverb. That Bassman you have sounds like a winner. Yeah, man, the vintage deluxe reverbs are great, man, especially like the pre-CBS ones. I'm actually on the hunt for one. I'd like to get one, you know. But the thing is, man, is like you also got to think about with a lot of the vintage amplifiers, you know, you really have to worry about the old parts, you know, and that's the thing is like I love the way that that stuff sounds, but there's also something to be said about these new amps, you know, and their reliability. You know, this, you know, reissue deluxe reverb that I take out on the road all the time, it just kicks ass, man. I turn it on, I throw a mic on it, it just kicks ass and it sounds great, you know. For within the studio, it's a lot more of a controlled environment, you know, so you don't have to, you know, really worry about it as much as long as you have it regularly serviced, you know. But man, like really even touring with vintage amps, man, like I'm kind of done doing that, to be honest, because it's just the gear just takes a beating on the road, and for me, the reissue just works. You know, I love the way it sounds, and I'm just so happy with that amp. It just kicks so much ass. It's just awesome. Literally any pedal you plug up into it, it sounds great. That with the R9, it's a killer combination. But yes, this blonde Bassman that I have down here, man, it is phenomenal. It's literally the best amp that I've ever played. You know, I get it regularly serviced by Todd Sharp, and you know, Todd and his crew was saying that that's literally the best blonde Bassman they've ever heard. And you know, they've serviced, I mean, who knows, probably thousands of them, you know. So it's pretty nuts. But you know, actually another point too with vintage Fenders that you got to worry about if you're touring with it is you know, obviously the tubes hang upside down from the chassis, you know, so they can fall out. And that's something that you got to really look out for, man, because when those amps are in road cases and they're being pushed and moved around and thrown around and stuff in the truck or in the trailer, you know, like the stuff just moves around, man. It just takes a beating, like I was saying. And sometimes what can actually happen is those tube sockets are just so old that actually the tube will actually fall out of the socket. And that actually happened to me several times, man. I remember I used to use a vintage Princeton reverb. It was a 66. It sounded amazing. It was incredible. But man, I remember touring with that thing, and like I would always check the back of it to see if the power amp tubes dropped out because the tube sockets were so loose because they're so old. So that's something that you really have to look out for. And you know, that is kind of like a design flaw with the Fender amplifiers, you know, but that's just what it was, you know. That's what I love with Marshalls, like the power amp tubes are standing up, you know. So you literally never have to worry about that at all. You know, if it's in that road case, man, and you have a new tube socket, man, they're gonna really stay put and not move around. But yeah, that's definitely something to look out for with vintage fenders. You know, because man, if the stuff, if it's being moved around a lot, those tubes will drop down and fall out, and sometimes they can even break, obviously, because of the impact when it hits the bottom of the cabinet. So, but anyways, let's see here. We have Danny in the house. Hey, Danny, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, never used compression much, but just added a diamond compressor to my board. Man, I tell you, this is the missing link I've been looking for. That's awesome, man. Great. Very cool, man. Very cool. He also says here, it's an older limited edition in black. Very cool. That's awesome. Let's see. 1002 Northeast says here, wife requests my presence Sunday nights for White Lotus series at 9 p.m. She kindly requests your live stream doesn't interfere. Oh, man. Well, maybe not a good time for you then. Dang, man. Yeah, it's hard, man. Like, I'm trying to find, like, the perfect time, the perfect, time to be doing this. You know, I was kind of thinking, like, maybe in the morning it would be good, but it's just hard for me, man, to be honest. Whenever I'm traveling, it's hard to stay put with and stay committed with the same time. Just to commit with every Sunday at 11:30 there. But I don't know, man. I think this is working out pretty well. So I think I may have to make a change here for sure. But thanks so much for being here, man. Really appreciate it as always. And great to see you and great to hear from you. But let's see here. Michael says here you can get tube sockets retensioned. You can also add spring retainers. Yeah, definitely, for sure. It's just like one of those things. I know even in that blonde basement, I had the tube socket actually changed out. They just put a new one in there. I still have the original one in there, but it's just from the age of it. You know, it's that's all it is. It's not really that big of a deal, but it's just one of those things. You know, if you're touring around with it and it's getting thrown around a lot, you know, it's kind of like for the live thing. I just like the reissues, you know, because they're brand new amps. I mean, they have new parts. You don't have to worry about power amp tubes falling down or, something going bad or something. It's one thing if you're playing at home and recording and stuff with the Vintage Deluxe or something. Like, that's really cool. But for touring, I don't know, man. I think I'm just going to stay committed to the reissues, to be honest. I mean, I love vintage fenders, of course. Don't get me wrong. I obviously have that 63 there, the blonde baseman. And, I love a great 64 Deluxe Reverb pre-CBS or 66. I mean, they sound amazing, don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of like, for the touring thing, I definitely like to use the reissues just for the consistency. They're just very, very reliable. I mean, I turn it on, I never have an issue with it, and it just works, man. It sounds killer. Let's see here. 1002 Northeast says here, any opinions on the current models of the Les Paul studio guitars? They are asking around $1,500 for them these days. Is it a good guitar for dialing in a Les Paul sound? Yeah, so like that's their more affordable line for sure. It's like their cheaper, like entry level Les Paul model, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it definitely will get you a Les Paul vibe. It's that fatter Les Paul kind of thing. I mean, it's not going to do like what an R9 does, but obviously there's a major price difference there. So, but something that you could do is like if you got a studio and you put in like custom bucker pickups or even found like a set of T-tops or something like this, that could actually be really cool, for not very much money. So the thing is that drives me nuts with a lot of the modern reissue Gibsons is how heavy of a finish that they use, like especially on the back of the necks and even on the body and stuff. It definitely affects the tone of the guitar for sure. But and even like to the touch, like on the back of the neck, I mean, your hand will really, get caught up on how heavy the finish is, and it's just real sticky, and I just don't like the feel of it, really. But that's what I really like with the Murphy Lab stuff, is they really do a nice job with the finishing and the way that the back of the neck feels. It's really good, man. I mean, I've got to say, man, I've played real 59 Les Pauls, and of course, I love those guitars. They're amazing. but they're 3, 4, 500,000 for one. So it's just kind of crazy, to be honest. I mean, I love those guitars. Don't get me wrong, but it's like Jesus Christ, like 500,000, man. I mean, that's a lot of dough, man. That's a lot of money for dang Les Paul. But the R9 is a great tool, man. It's great. It's a lot cheaper. I think brand new, they're like 66, 67, I think, brand new. So they're definitely pretty expensive, but man, it's a great tool. It's a great guitar. Those custom bucker pickups sound amazing. But the Les Paul Studio works, man. That said, I mean, there's been some great music written on Les Paul Studios. So, it's totally up to you and whatever you like. It's all about whatever inspires you, like I was talking about earlier. So that's what it's really all about. But actually, just one other thing here with this too is when you go in to check out this Les Paul, just any guitar in general, make sure that you check the nut, and apply pressure behind the nut and see if the string is binding up within the nut slot. You really want to make sure that that's dialed in. And I would have whatever shop, whoever you're looking to buy this guitar from, have them actually file that down before you end up walking out with it. And just make sure that those strings aren't binding up in there, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of tuning issues, and it's just not going to stay stable. It's not going to stay in tune very well. It's going to move around a lot on you. So just make sure that those nut slots are really dialed in. But, again, Les Paul Studio is a cool guitar, man. There's nothing wrong with it, for the money. If you just kind of want a Les Paul vibe just every now and again, man, you could just plug that up and go, man. So whatever works for you. But yeah, folks, once again, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer. And again, if you guys feel like you got something out of today's live stream and you guys want to support the channel, check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. I offer one-on-one online lessons. You could throw a little love in the Venmo tip jar or the PayPal tip jar, or even a super chat here in today's live stream. Any and all support is really appreciated. I literally make nothing on these live streams, so any and all support is really appreciated. And again, be sure to check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. There's many ways you can support this channel. So let's see here. 1000 says here, I have an old Gibson 53 ES 125. The higher up I go on the fretboard, the notes are not in tune. Yeah, it's not intonated, And those 125s, man, are kind of interesting guitars, man. To be honest, like a lot of people just take the electronics out of those, like the 125s or the 175s. I'd be curious if it has a P90 or what exactly it has, but that's literally like the value of the guitar is literally the electronics, because a lot of people will take them out, and if the guitar has a P90 or something, they'll put it into their, 56 Les Paul Jr. or something, or if it has PAFs, they'll take the PAFs out and put it into their whatever SG or Les Paul or something. So, but that's really the thing with those, man, is like the electronics are really what it's all about. Let's see, he says here it's all original P90 included. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure that P90 sounds great, but it's kind of the thing, man. Those 125s are kind of quirky, man. They're not really my favorites, just to be honest. But that said, I'm sure that P90 sounds amazing. So, I know a lot of people, what they'll do with those again is they just take the pickup out, they'll take the pots out, and then they'll throw it into another guitar. But thank you so much, Orson, for the Venmo tip. I really appreciate that. Give you some sound effects. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. But yeah, I'm trying to think on that ES125. I don't know off the top of my head if there is even anything you could do to adjust the intonation on those. I off the top of my head, I don't think you even can, because there's no ABR like on a Les Paul or 335 or something. So Those are kind of quirky instruments for sure. But that said, I mean the P90 and those pots, man, that's all great stuff. It's amazing stuff for sure. Let's see. Soldano says here, do you have any pickup, pedal, or EQ combinations that you like with a Les Paul and a deluxe reverb? Man, really any pickup. I love those custom buckers, like I've been talking about with the R9, the Murphy Lab one. Those pickups sound great. I really like the way that they sound. Any pedal, man, it depends on what I'm going for. Like I was saying, I normally like to have two different gain stages, so I'll have like more recently I've been using this Bogner Lagrange pedal, it's called, which is like a really great Marshall Plexi in a box, and I know there's a lot of pedals out there that claim that they are a Marshall Plexi in a box, but they're really not, and it's all marketing BS. But I tell you what, man, this dang Bogner Lagrange is phenomenal. It is so good sounding. It's crazy, man. I mean, that with the R9 Les Paul plugged up into a deluxe reverb, it sounds killer. It sounds so good. And I actually just threw it on a pedal board for this weekend, man, and I was just loving the tone that I got out of it, man. It sounded amazing. But besides that, like I love the Greer Lightspeed is another great one. I normally like to have two different gain stages, like I was saying, so that's my future plan with that board is I'm gonna put a Lightspeed on there and then put that Bogner Lagrange on there and just use one or the other depending on the music and depending on the parts that I'm playing. But let's see, and then EQ combinations. Yeah, I mean really EQ, you really just want mid-range because the deluxe reverb is going to be more mid-scooped in general. So you definitely want mid-range, and that's why like the Boss GE7 is a great pedal where you can add on the mid-range, and even in general with like the Greer Lightspeed, it's more of a mid-rangey drive. So it just pairs really well with the deluxe reverb. It just works really well. So that's what I would recommend to that. Let's see. It's a good sounding P90, 1000 says here. I want to try to record direct and mic'd simultaneously with it. Any advice on how best to do that? Man, interesting. I mean, yeah, you could do that for sure. I mean, you just got to make sure that everything is in phase. That's the big thing. So everything is in time. But yeah, you could definitely do that. If you just plugged up directly into like an interface, like if you have an Apollo from UA, Universal Audio, you could record direct through that. If you take like a condenser mic or something, you put it by the 12th to 15th fret, somewhere in there, you could mic it up just acoustically. But that could be cool. I mean, hell, what I would do is just plug up the guitar into an amp and just mic up the amp, get that P90 happening. Because, man, that those P90s from, the early 50s, 60s, I mean, they sound amazing. So, let's see, would a U87 work well? Yeah, that would work. Let's see, we have Bog in the house. Hey, man, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, let's see, says here, none of my business, but please keep that TV special. Yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's a great guitar, man. I love it. It's like one of the best sounding P90 guitars I've ever had, for sure. But it's like, to be honest, I'm just seeing the price on what the stuff is going for now. And it's just like, man, I would love to keep it, but it's like, man, like what those are selling for now is just unbelievable. And I'm just kind of like, I love the guitar so much, but really everything has a price. And, that's just what it is. That's just where I'm at, Everything has a price, and I have a lot of people that are really interested in it. But I have it priced a little high, to be honest, but that's just the price that I want, man. That's what it's gonna take for me to sell it. Otherwise, I'll just keep it. I'm not like in a financial bind where I need to sell it to make the money or whatever. That's just what it's gonna take for me to sell it. That's all. And I just know this guitar is perfect, man. It's dialed in. It sounds amazing. It plays amazing. It's intonated perfectly. There's zero issues with it. And it did have a maestro on there, but other than that, it's all there, man. It's all original. There's no breaks. There's no modifications. And it's just so inspiring to play, man. I mean, I know even when I took it over to Tom's, and I brought it over there for him to check out, it just took him on a journey, man. And I was standing there in the kitchen, and man, he just started playing, and he just could not put it down, man. And I totally understand, because that's how I felt when I first picked up this guitar. I just found it in New York, upstate New York, and I took it off the wall, and I was like, holy shit, man, this thing is amazing, man. And they had it refretted, and the frets are a little bit bigger in size in comparison to the original frets, but not by very much. They're not like jumbos or something, which I don't like jumbos, like jumbo frets at all. I actually hate them. They play it. It's really not good at all on these vintage guitars. But this guitar, it works really well, man, because you have the thinner neck and the smaller body, but you get a little bit more meat off of the fret, and it's just killer, man. Thumbs up. That's kind of cool. It does that. See if I can do it again. I guess not. Damn it. It's so random how it does that sometimes. But yeah. But anyways, I know it's dialed in, man. It's perfect. It's a phenomenal guitar. But let's see here. 1000 says here, if I go direct out into a mic pre with a built-in DI, wouldn't that be the P90 sound, or does the sound require an amp to really shine? You could just put like plugins on it if you were to just go direct. Of course, you're still going to get the sound, but I don't know, man. I mean, to me, with recording electric guitar, I like to move air and move, speaker air and stuff. And, I like to use the Royer and the 57 on a speaker. And, it's just more vibey, man. You just get the amp in the room with the P90. And to me, it's way cooler. You're really going to get a lot better results. I mean, yeah, you could go direct and just throw like an amp and the DAW or something, like a plug-in on there. But I try to stay away from that stuff. I like a real amp, moving air, and double mic'd, man, where it's a Royer and a 57. And of course, you got to make sure that they're in phase so that both the microphones are hearing the speaker in real time together. But man, once that's figured out, you just leave them set up, and it just sounds killer every time. Just, double mic it, send it into a mic pre, and then that's it. Go into your Apollo and record away, man, or whatever kind of interface you have. Sounds killer. Let's see. Richard is in the house. Hey, Richard, how's it going? Says here, you could see his lust. I think he approved, LOL. Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, it was so funny, like before we even filmed that video, like I was saying, man, like he just like went out there, man. He just like went on a journey, and that guitar, man, it does that. It just does that, man. And it's so inspiring to play, man. And once again, this is what just very elementary level musicians just don't understand, is they don't understand that inspiration factor, and this guitar has it. It's so inspiring to play, when you pick it up, you just want to write, you just want to fucking play, and just, it just has this appeal, man, this sex appeal, and it's just vibey. It's very inspiring to play. The P90 sound amazing, and that's just what guitars like that do, There's certain instruments, man, that it really brings it out, and that's what we're all looking for. So that guitar is amazing, and like I say, I don't need to sell it. It's all good. I'm not like in a financial bind or anything, but the price is the price. I'm asking what I'm asking because I know it's perfect. And there may be some other guys on Reverb or wherever that are selling it for a bit less than me, but you also don't know how good of an instrument that it is. It's not going to be set up like this. It's not going to sound like this guitar, and I just don't really care, to be honest. I don't care at all what literally anybody's opinion is on what I'm asking for on this guitar. The price is the price. That's it. I don't care what anybody has to say with it. It's dialed in. It's perfect. And there's value to that. So that's just my opinion. But let's see here. 1000 says here, last question, I swear. All good, man. No problem. No problem. What are your thoughts on miking the back of an amp and the front? Yeah, of course, man. That's a great technique for sure. You got to make sure they're in phase, of course. But for me, I actually like to just double mic it, and then I'll just throw like a room mic up, that's distanced away from the speaker. That's what I just like to do. But that's another great way to do it too, man. You could get the that open back cabinet tone, which is a cool vibe. It's a cool thing too. But for me, I just prefer double miking the speaker and then just throwing up a room mic and just recording that. I think it just sounds great. So that's just what I'm used to, and it's what I like to do. But again, to each their own. Doesn't matter. Whatever you like. Let's see. Bog says here, I associate that guitar with you because of your earlier videos. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's really cool. That's really nice to hear that, for sure. Yeah, it's a really special guitar, man. It really is. I mean, I'll never forget the first time I picked it up and I started playing. I just was like, wow. I mean, it really took me on a journey too, and it's just so inspiring to play, man. It's just phenomenal. I've actually got it here. Let's see. Right here. Beautiful TV yellow finish. Just absolutely kick-ass. Again, had the Maestro on there, but it's so dialed in, man. It's just perfect. No breaks, no nonsense. It's just really, really nice. 60 TV yellow special, all original pickups, original electronics. Just sounds kick-ass. It's very light, and it just has this vibe, man. It's just really, really good. It's just kick-ass. So, the price is the price on this guitar, and I realize that I may be asking a little high, a little too much for it, but that's just what it's gonna take. This thing is dialed in. It's absolutely perfect. It's flawless, and I just don't care, man. That's just what it's gonna take. So TV Yellow 60 Les Paul Special, one of the best Les Paul Specials, probably the best Les Paul Special I've ever heard and I've ever played. So really amazing. But anyways, that's really cool though. That's great to hear that, man. Thank you for that. Let's see. We've got Sean in the house. It says here, hey bro TL. Let's see. Okay, you sent another comment in. I'll get to that here in a second. 1000 says here, thanks. See you next time. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate your support as always. And Sean says here, hey man, I will be down in April. I will hit you up to see if you're playing local. Weather is breaking. Yeah, definitely, man. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely hit me up for sure. I'll be playing a bunch, so it's looking like next month is going to be super, super busy already. So definitely hit me up for sure. I'll be around for sure. But yeah, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. And man, this has been one hell of a live stream. I tell you what, man, this has just been phenomenal. So I think this is going to be the time going forward now. I'm just going to start it up here at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. This has just been absolutely amazing, incredible engagement, and a lot of people tuning in here today, so I really do appreciate it. And once again, folks, if you guys feel like you got something out of today's live stream and you guys want to support the channel, feel free to throw a little love in the Venmo tip jar or the PayPal tip jar or even a super chat here in today's live stream. It really makes a difference. I'm not making anything on this live stream. I make zero on these live streams. It's just a donation of time. So if you guys want to support the channel, again, feel free to throw a little love in the Venmo tip jar or the PayPal tip jar or a super chat. And also check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. I offer one-on-one online lessons. I shoot everything on a 4K definition camera. It's all pro video and pro audio. And you're actually seeing and hearing the exact setup that I use for these lessons. So it's really professional. It works incredibly well. I mean, there's no freezing up. There's no glitching up. It's literally as if we were sitting right next to each other doing this lesson in real time. So it's just really amazing. And what's so cool with these lessons is that you'll actually get a recorded copy of the lesson itself at the very end. So you could just simply download the video and rewatch it as many times as you want. So you can keep the lesson forever and rewatch it whenever you want. You can rewind it. You can go back and really retain the information that I actually give out within these lessons. It's not just shot on an iPhone with garbage audio and garbage video. This is really professional. I've really taken the time to really have a really nice setup for this. I really want it to be a great experience for everybody that is signed up, and it's just amazing what this has turned into. I teach people from all over the world now because of YouTube here, and it's just been incredible. So if you yourself are interested in this, hit me up today at jkm4231@gmail.com. That's jkm4231@gmail.com. Take your guitar playing and musicianship up to the next level today. Again, I'd be happy to get you down on the schedule. Just shoot me an email, jkm4231@gmail.com, and I'll get you set up here. But, folks, looks like I've been going here for about an hour and 20 minutes now already, and can't believe it, man. These things always fly by. So I really appreciate everybody's support. If you guys have any questions for me, it looks like we still have a good amount of people here. So I can keep going if you all want. But, again, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer. I just got back in town. I was playing in Cincinnati this weekend and just had a hell of a weekend up there, man. It was so dang fun. Oh, man, it was just chaotic with the St. Patty's Day, this, throwdown, man. It was just incredible. Just drinks flying. And, man, it was just out of control. Little tired, little jet lagged, but man, I'm happy to be back home. I've got a bunch of videos that I've got planned out that I'm going to be doing, and got a lot of teaching to do this week, so I'm really excited to be back. Let's see, 1000 says here, Cheetos or Doritos? Man, I'm going to go Doritos on that. I like nacho cheese, man. That's good stuff. And the what's the ranch one? It's like Cool Ranch, I think it is. It's good stuff, man, for sure. But man, I think that's gonna be it. I think we just had some people drop out, but I think I'm gonna sign off for today, folks. I really appreciate everybody joining me here in today's live stream. It really means the world to me. And again, thank you guys so much for watching my videos and supporting my music. It just really means so much to me. And I love hanging out with you guys and answering y'all's questions. So come on back next Sunday. I'm going to change the time now. I'm now going to be doing it at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So come on back and, get your questions ready. I'd be happy to answer them and hang out with you guys. And once again, I'll be back here next Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, that's it for today, folks. Again, if you guys want to support the channel, be sure to, check out all of the links that I have down below. There's many ways you can support the channel. And again, this is truly a donation of time. So any and all support is really appreciated. And it looks like here we have one last question here from Danny. Danny says here, forgot to even ask if and when you use compression. Yeah, man, I do use it. I only use it whenever I'm playing clean and I'm kind of going for that squashed, kind of compressed guitar sound. Whenever I'm playing with my fingers or if I'm doing a lot of the chicken picking kind of stuff and I'm playing through a clean amp, I normally like to use the old Ross compressor. But that's really the only time that I really use it is just whenever I'm playing clean or I just want everything to really even out and just get a little bit more out of the amp whenever I'm doing the chicken picking thing. That's really what I use that for. So, great question though. But let's see. Sean says here, have a great week later. Take care, Sean. Peace out. And 1000 says here, see you 8 p.m. Eastern. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yep, next week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time or 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be back here live. This was just one hell of a live stream. And again, folks, I really appreciate it. And we will see you all next time. Take care.